All right, welcome to another episode of Overrated. My name is Sujay.
I'm Girish.
I'm Will.
And I'm Brian.
And today we're talking about The Dark Knight. So, first question I have for you guys before we get into the categories is, if Batman were real today, which billionaire would most likely be him?
Elon Musk.
Are you fucking crazy?
See, Elon Musk is the answer that everyone goes with. But my argument against Elon Musk is I don't think he could keep being Batman a secret. Like, that's one of the main things about Batman. He doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah, I guess
But
Elon
Musk
is more of an Iron Man type, yeah.
Yeah, like Iron Man, sure. I would say Elon Musk is Iron Man. But for the reason that Tony Stark was like Iron Man for like a week and then told everyone, which is exactly what Elon would do.
When I think of rich people that no one knows who they are, I think of the Koch brothers. Because they're like crazy fucking rich. And there's no one gives a shit about them.
Do you think the
So
Koch brothers are going to be the
old, right?
vigilantes?
Yeah, but see, the problem is
Saving
there's
Gotham.
not many... Yeah, the thing is,
I think they're low key.
the problem is there's not many millionaires who I would say, like, look like a superhero.
Billionaires.
Yo,
Or
you know
billionaires.
Jeff Bezos
like,
is
most of them
low-key
are old.
ripped.
Actually, wait, I could...
Jeff Bezos is low-key, like, he's
Bezos.
low-key strong.
You know who Jeff Bezos reminds me of? Jeff Bezos
Lex
would 100%
Luthor?
be Lex Luthor.
Yeah, for
like,
sure. Just because he's bald, but
he looks like Lex Luthor.
he has the moral
like,
compass.
He's rich, like...
Yeah.
Like, that's who I see as... I said, okay, I was looking it up because I was curious, like, what the internet thought, and one of the names that popped up on one of the lists is Sergey Brin. Do you guys know who that is?
Okay. No, I don't think so.
But that's
Well,
perfect.
that's probably a good sign because that
Yeah.
means he's off the grid. So he's the co-founder of Google,
Okay.
which we're using right now. He stays off the grid because,
Hashtag
like,
ad.
clearly you didn't know who he was. Because he's like the co-founder of Google, he's like a computer science major and stuff, so he has access to high tech, and he's relatively young. He's 46 and he's in shape. So I think that's who I thought would be.
How
good
old
call.
Believe this
is
guy's
Bruce
cover, dude.
Wayne?
Like,
Varies,
very-
but like
yeah,
that
30
old, like
tops.
40s, 50s. Like he's pretty
in
old.
The Dark Knight.
it
He's
depends
40?
on the movie.
In the Dark Knight, he might be
30.
like 30.
Yeah, Dark Knight Rises, though, he's like old, and that's like the main point of the movie at some points. But yeah, I guess your guy fits the profile. Can't really think of anyone else. I mean, yeah, I
Mike Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Easy.
I'm gonna go with Jeff Bezos just because I remember reading some article that he like started working out like crazy and actually got really ripped. That's it.
yeah, but I feel like Jeff Bezos doesn't have
I don't
the.
What, you
don't believe that?
I don't. No, I believe that, but
I don't believe he got really
no, look,
ripped.
look it up. I remember reading this like long article about Amazon and people were like, I don't know. Let me see. If you Google Jeff Bezos, ripped.
Ripped.
Jeff Bezos
Everyone at
shirtless.
home Google this right now.
Shirtless pics. Jeff
It's like the
Bezos.
first three on like Brian's autocompletes.
Everybody go to Pornhub.com.
Yeah, it's like Jeff Bezos.
It kinda looks like-
it's like Jeff Bezos Senior, studio. Shirtless. There it is.
Oh man, I wish I could share my screen, but if you Google it up, the first image that pops up makes him look like Vin Diesel almost. I'm not even joking.
It's probably fucking
No,
Photoshop.
no,
Yeah, man,
look
okay,
it
I
up
gotta
yourself.
look at this now.
Look it up.
I actually
Google
do.
Jeff Bezos
You've
ripped and
tapped
look at
my
the first
interest.
photo.
Jeff Bezos ripped.
He looks like Vin Diesel.
I heard Kylo Ren is shredded. I heard he has a six
That's
pack.
because of the outfit he's wearing. The next picture
Yeah,
is
the next
literally
picture
a
is
Photoshop
Photoshop,
picture
but,
of
like-
an explosion going off behind it.
If you were talking about the most physically competent billionaires or whatever, my money's on Jeff Bezos.
Oh, wait, he actually is
Alex
pretty.
Bezos,
He's
he's
pretty in
56,
shape.
okay.
Exactly.
The second one is the second one is like him walking away from an explosion.
It's hard to tell. I mean, his arms are like relatively big in the picture, but
Yeah.
But like, what was the other guy that like would if you had to see like him versus Elon Musk in a fist fight, would you not take Bezos any day?
I
Yeah.
guess. Based on this picture alone, that's all I know
Elon Musk
about
does
how
not
ripped
strike
Jeff
me as a
Bezos
guy
is.
who is like a physically combative sort of dude.
He's
Yeah, it's alright.
he's Elon Musk.
He's the guy who like take like fighting classes just so he could fight someone.
But he doesn't strike me as like I don't know.
I searched David. This is so stupid. I searched David Koch ripped to like counteract, and the all the results that pop up are like David Koch, comma ripped, like rest in
Is he dead?
I don't think so.
Are you
Like,
sure?
He was pretty.
No, he's really old
Okay.
though.
I was gonna say he was pretty old.
Alright.
Alright, yeah.
Alright.
Oh wait, maybe he is dead.
God, candidate for Batman then.
Well, that'd be a pretty good, yeah. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I guess he might be dead.
All right, well then, this is overrated. And we're back. All right, categories. Where were you? So this is, I think we all watched it when we were pretty young. It's pretty hard to pinpoint exactly when I watched this movie for the first time. I know it was like somewhere in like 7th and 8th grade. There was like this phase like during like time period where I got really into superhero movies, and I remember there was this one summer where my family, we got a Blockbuster membership, which is a very old-fashioned sentence, but I remember like I watched like every superhero movie possible during that summer, and I mean that's not saying a lot because in that time period there wasn't like a massive amount of content like we have like now, like with like just Marvel shoving like everything down our throat, and DC's like out there, you know, like doing their best. But we like back then, like we had like those 4 movies from like the MCU. We had the Dark Knight trilogy, and we had Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. Like that was it. Those were all the good movies we had for superhero stuff. And so I rewatched this a few days ago, and I thought it was on Netflix, but apparently it got taken off like a while ago. But at first I thought I was gonna have to like illegally stream it, but apparently I remembered something. I have the OG form of pirating, which is a bootleg DVD from India. So I don't know how long it's been since you guys watched a DVD, but it was like I was so happy I found it. Like, you guys remember when like they had ads on DVDs like before they started?
Yeah.
So like the ads on the Dark Knight DVD were like so 2008. Like they were like straight up like there was an ad for Blu-ray movies, not like a specific movie, just Blu-ray in general. So I like that. It was just a trip watching like a DVD for first time in a while.
Throwback.
Hey, Will, you want to say yours?
Yeah. I also don't really remember. I was saying before that I saw this movie like when the year it came out. I know I saw it in a movie theater, and I saw it with like my friends from like middle school. It was like Sean Gannon and those guys.
Shout out Sean Gannon.
Yeah, I'm sure he's listening. But yeah, I can't really remember it much. I didn't really like superhero movies like at all throughout middle school and high school. Like I didn't dislike them, but I was never like into them or the comics or anything.
But it was a good movie,
yeah,
regardless
just
of it being.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah, it wasn't like I was going because I was a DC fan. I just went because it was the new movie that was
Yeah.
up.
Chris, you want to go ahead and tell everybody?
Alright, yeah, so the first time I watched this, I was in like middle school, maybe I'd say, like 2008. After that, right? But like, if you guys don't know, I was in a band, right? It was like Rose Milk, right? With like Rambala, Prashant, and like a bunch of other people. It was just him and like another dude. But anyways,
Shout
what
out to
happened was
Rose Milk.
it was 4 guys, including me. But like originally when we started, we were like just like doing this dance for like some like Tamil Cultural Association, right? And so what happened was like we like after like one of the practices, we were like we'll just have a sleepover at this dude's house. We stayed up like super late, and that's like we watched Dark Knight, and it was like really late, and it was like the first like long sleepover I had, and it was like pretty chill. I thought it was a good movie.
So it wasn't at the theaters.
No,
Have you ever seen it at the theaters?
no.
Okay.
I watched it in like 2010, 11 maybe. So
A couple years after. Yeah, first time I watched this movie was April 14th, 2020. So like 4 hours ago.
You hadn't seen this
No,
before?
I haven't. No. I've seen clips of it online on YouTube. Like, there's plenty of famous clips, which I'm sure we'll get to later on in the podcast. But I just never saw it. I haven't seen any of the trilogy movies, so it was actually a little.
Yeah, was it weird? Like, I think this movie's pretty standalone. Like,
It was. It was in
previous
a good
part
sense,
to
but in the
watch it.
beginning, there were like stuff where like I had to sort of piece together if like Rachel was a thing with Batman, or like I don't know. There was like a lot of things like who's friends with who, but
Yeah, they're like the same relationship as Iris and Barry from The Flash. Like they met when they were like really young kids, and they also dated for a while. Did they date in the first movie? I forgot.
I know. See, here's the thing. I was gonna say I actually did not watch Batman Begins until like much later. So I had no
Yeah, I
idea.
remember, I've only seen like once.
I don't even remember
it's
watching it, like,
it's a
honestly,
good
like,
movie.
yeah.
Like the trilogy as a whole is pretty good, but they're pretty forgettable. The Batman Begins.
We should
and
do Dark Knight Rises. For
Yeah,
sure.
like I haven't seen
Huh?
Dark Knight Rises
You like
either,
Dark
so
Knight
like this
Rises?
is my first.
I've seen that
Batman
one. I've
movie.
seen that
oh,
one, yeah.
I didn't even watch Batman vs Superman. Although I remember I wanted to because
That's not the same thing, though. That's it's not part of the trilogy.
that
so-
movie
Okay, damn.
sucks.
Okay, whatever.
I watched it with you guys.
But I yeah, it was on my computer through less than legal means. I do wish that I watched it in a movie theater because I feel like that experience, mostly before like the soundtrack of the movie and just like how intense it gets. Like I was feeling it even through my headphones, you know, watching on a screen 5 inches away. But I can just imagine what it'd be like watching in a actual movie theater with like surround sound audio and whatnot. But yeah.
I mean, it was 2008, so it wasn't.
I mean, it had to be better than
Honestly, it was.
the peak of surround sound.
my headphones, right? I don't know.
No, it probably was, but it wasn't like now where like the action and the scenes are insane. And, like, all this, the sound quality wasn't as high as it is now.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, all right. So let's move on to our next category. Score it. Personal score first for the movie. So, I this is like okay. So like I really don't like the question of like when they do icebreakers and stuff like what's your favorite movie, because I feel like if you've seen a lot of movies then you shouldn't be able to choose a favorite. Like I like a lot of different movies for
See,
different
you guys
reasons.
see my point now.
But you like every
It's-
movie.
there's a
That's
lot.
not, there's a difference.
It's hard, you know.
But
Yeah. Okay.
before I'd seen a lot of movies, when people used to ask me what's your favorite movie, I would consistently say The Dark Knight. So
Really? I mean,
this is definitely the highest
Okay.
for me.
like,
I'd say I'm gonna go with 95
like be a personal score.
score. Personal
Damn,
score, yeah.
Okay. See, here's the thing. I really like the. Obviously, I like the movie. It's me, but I thought it was pretty good. I thought like for the time, because I read that it's like what made comic book movies like. You know, that's when I was like, you can make an actual movie off this, and so I think it was like kind of more revolutionary. So I give it like an 87.
Wait, you built it up all that much, and you're like, yeah, B
Yeah,
plus, you
I
know?
mean-
Like, I give it
No,
a
but I've
B.
been trying to be more like regular with my other stuff. So
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, the Joker was a baller in this movie for sure, but like, I don't think. I personally like Dark Knight Rises more. I think I like Bane
Really?
more, but this was a good movie, but it didn't like really stick out for me. So I'd probably give it like an
Okay.
82.
I'm really curious to watch Dark Knight Rises now. I actually haven't seen any clips from that movie. I like this movie a lot. I think there is so many characters that were involved, and normally a movie that has that many characters, it has a hard time of like sort of keeping track of all of them and doing them justice. But I think this movie did a good job. And I think this is one of my, like, I wouldn't call myself a superhero movie fan. Like, I don't, like, actively go out to watch them, but out of all the ones that I have seen, this ranks on the higher side. Like, I would probably say top 5 or top 3 or something of the ones I've seen.
it's definitely like a different kind of movie, like compared to all the new ones that we have now, where it's all like upbeat, like
Because
this.
it's not Marvel.
Yeah, it's like very dark
that's
and
like
gritty.
DC's
It's like
thing, though.
thematic. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, I get, but like even like as a standalone movie, I think like not comparing it against other comic book genre movies, I would give this a 92.
Pretty high.
Okay, solid.
Solid.
All right, so we can guess the Rotten Tomatoes score now. So I'll tell you guys ahead of time. For the first time ever, the critics and the audience
Oh,
had the same
so we'll just
score.
give one score then. Yeah.
So, yeah, one score for both. So I saw that after I guessed my score, so I just took the closer one. So I said 92.
Oh wow.
Okay. Let's say 91.
I'll say 85.
Okay. I wanted to guess 92, but since Sujay took it, I'll go
You can guess 92.
95. I don't know.
That's fine. Well, okay, Brian was actually the closest. It was 94, which is crazy high for both critics and audience. And, like, for them to both have the same, that mean it was, like, good on both levels. So I agree with that. This movie also won Oscars for Best Performance by an Actor for Supporting Role for Heath Ledger, and this was after he died. This
Yeah.
movie actually came out after he died.
I think
he died,
that's
like,
why. Yeah, I remember
a month or
that.
so before the movie. And he also won an Oscar for best achievement in sound editing, and I don't know what sound editing is.
It's like, I mean, I guess it's just like how you like make the effects come in.
Edit sound.
Yeah,
But that was one of the first things I looked up after watching the movie, and
like what Oscars?
it got nominated for 8 Oscars, and it got nominated for
8?
sound editing and sound mixing. And I'm not like a film guy, so like to me those sound like the same exact thing. But I'm sure I would offend many people who.
One of them is clearly editing the sound. The other one is mixing it.
You just pissed off a huge population.
I'm sorry, like I'm probably pissed off all the sound editors and sound mixers out there.
There goes half our.
But I don't know. I thought that was interesting. That sound editing won, but then sound mixing got nominated but didn't win.
Yeah. And you said it got nominated for 8 Oscars. This is actually the most Oscar nominations for a comic book movie.
Wow.
Damn.
And this was the first major Oscar that a comic book movie had won. So, like, this really set the tone for, like, comic
Wait,
book
you're
movies,
telling
I
me
guess,
Sam Raimi's
and, like, the
Spider-Man
level.
didn't win any Oscars? God.
Wait, off talk. Did any of the Infinity War or Endgame, did they win it? Yeah.
Any of the
Well,
Marvel
no,
I
just
don't
those
think-
two. Did they
except
win
for-
any Oscars? Because I thought, in my opinion,
I think they
those were
got-
really
I
good.
don't think they did.
Oscars? I don't think they did.
Did
They made
nominated?
a category like later. Yeah, for like the
I
visual.
think Black
effect.
Panther is the only
That
Marvel
won
movie
one,
who's
yeah.
done-
Black
Wow.
Panther won one, but I think
Yeah.
like last year or 2 years ago they basically made like another category in the Oscar for like like not visual effects, but like it was like something related that like only superhero movies like Star Wars and all those kinds of movies have, and there's like something like that. They made a category and there's like a bunch of controversy because it's like, oh, Disney's just gonna get another Oscar every year because they make all these movies. I was like, I don't know,
Like
it's Disney.
graphic design or something like
Something
that.
like it's not something like that like
CGI sort of
I
thing.
don't know. Yeah, probably, but it's whatever. Yeah,
Interesting.
but I don't even think they won those. So
Yeah, so 2 Oscars and also a Golden Globe for Heath Ledger again for best
he was
performance by an actor in
so
supporting role.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, Heath Ledger was definitely the best part of this movie.
I feel like in all the Batman movies,
Alright.
the villain kind of defines it. Because, well, at least in Batman, the Dark Knight Rises, I thought like Tom Hardy was like a really good job, you know. So I haven't seen Begins in a while.
That's like-
yeah.
That's like DC to me is like DC is like the darker version of
That's
Yeah,
what all
yeah.
people
So,
always
like,
say.
it's
Yeah, that's due in big part to this movie and this trilogy in general because like they really set the tone for like dark like Batman vibes and
and it's like
That's what-
the villains are almost like they're not obviously not the protagonists
They're-
'cause, like,
yeah.
by definition they're the antagonists, but like they're the main role.
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
in the
they-
movie.
you follow them, yeah.
All right, we'll move on then to favorite scenes and quotes. So I did something different this time. Instead of like watching the full movie and then writing down my favorite scenes, since I'd seen the movie before, I wrote them down like as I went, and I realized that was a mistake now because I ended with 9 favorite scenes and quotes.
Instead of watching the
So-
movie and then writing the favorite scenes, I watched my favorite
Wait,
scenes
there's-
first and then watched the movie.
There are a lot of good scenes in there. Yeah.
It's
Yeah, there
there's
are a
like
lot of good
one
scenes,
that I
so
thought
it's
I don't want to
probable that mine are gonna be yours. So if it's yours, just jump in with your like.
I
explanation or
honestly
whatever.
didn't want to pick too many just because I knew like
I don't have clips for all. I don't have clips for all of them. Some of them are just like quotes or like scenes that don't really have clips. But here we go.
oh,
All right, first scene, the bank scene.
Criminals in this town used to believe in things. Honor. Respect. Look at you. What do you believe in, huh? What do you believe in?
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
yeah, that's
So,
good.
right from the start of this movie, you get this really cool heist scene, and it's so well executed. Like, the robbers are talking about the Joker in, like, this really cool, mysterious way, like, without, like, referencing him, like, directly, but they're just saying there's this guy who planned it, and then, like, what do they call him? They call him the Joker.
Yes.
And the way, like, the Joker, like, plans the whole thing, too, so they all kill each other, and then he walks away with all the money, that's just, like, really cool, too. It's definitely one of the best, like, introductions for a villain I've seen in a movie.
I didn't have that, but like I only picked one honestly. But yeah, that's
What the-
I thought that was a really good scene. No, I only picked one. Like I don't want to overload.
Do you have the quote that he says in the scene like at the end?
Yeah, what doesn't kill you simply
Yeah.
makes you a stranger.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
that'll
one of the
be in
like
it.
3 iconic quotes.
Yeah.
I know the other one.
That is
I
definitely a
100%
scene that
know
I've seen
one.
on YouTube many times as just being lauded as just a great cinematic sort of masterpiece.
Yeah, it's a very good intro to the movie.
I mean, that scene alone is
Yeah.
worth a lot. So like, that's one of the things I've seen of the movie before I ever watched the movie today.
And the fact, like, it's just the first scene. Like,
I
they
didn't
just
know it
look
was
you
the first
straight away,
scene.
like,
I was
that's
actually very
really nice.
surprised when I started the movie and it started with that because I thought like just watching the clips, like, oh, this might be like, halfway through or something like that, but no, it's the first scene.
Yeah, they drop you in there.
Yeah.
All right. Next, I have a quote from Harvey Dent. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
The iconic one, yeah. That's like transcends the movie, honestly.
I've heard that quote somewhere, or I've heard that quote being mentioned, but I never knew it came from Batman, so I thought it was kind of interesting.
It literally transcends the movie. Like, it's such an iconic quote that, like, everyone says it all the time now.
Yeah, so it's foreshadowing for later what happens to Harvey Dent, and it's also showing, like, the questionable morality of Batman, and, like, is he a hero, and, like, how long will he stay a hero for before he becomes a villain? So,
and technically, at the end of the movie,
really cool.
he does, like, become the villain.
Become the
like,
villain, yeah.
even though, yeah. But yeah, that's one of the iconic quotes for sure.
Yeah.
All right, next I have Joker's first meeting with the gangs.
Batman has shown Gotham your true colors, unfortunately. Dent, he's just the beginning. And as for the television's so-called plan, Batman has no jurisdiction. He'll find him and make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them. And
What do you propose?
it's simple. We kill the Batman.
If it's so simple, why haven't you done it already?
If you're good at something, never do it for free.
So this is the one where he says, "We killed the Batman," and there's just honestly so many great quotes and stuff from this one speech.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I feel like a lot of this movie, like the more quotes you mentioned, I'm like, I've heard these so many times. Like,
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. There's so many.
it's very
and
quotable.
they're all from
Yeah,
the
I will point out-
like,
Yeah,
not all,
in
but-
great part to Heath Ledger's ability to monologue. So
The one,
a lot of these are Heath
probably
Ledger's
my
monologues.
favorite scene, or the one scene that impacted me throughout this whole thing, years before I even watched it. My friend, like, when it first came out, we were all in middle school or something, and he was like, "Man, I just watched that Dark Knight movie that just came out, and it scarred me for life." And I was like, "Man, what's so bad about it?" And he starts describing me this, like, grotesque scene. He's like, this guy basically shoves a pencil down, like, when it's like, you want to see a magic trick, and then he takes it and is like, "Oh, we're gonna make this pencil disappear." And then, like, back... yeah, and then he was like, just that like whole scene that he described vividly to me, and I was like, damn, I don't want to watch this movie. So
I think there's only two gross parts in this movie. Like, that's the one part, and then the second part is when the dude has the bomb and it's like his phone in his stomach, and it just like starts ringing.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I was like, that's just so gross, but like, it's kind of it's a
The
smart...
pencil scene's not that bad. Like, it's definitely a lot less graphic than they could
because
make it
it's
today. Like,
is
they
it
definitely would
rated
show the pencil
PG-13
going through your
or-
head.
okay,
Yeah,
I
it's
think
rated
that's why.
PG-13, I
If they
think.
actually showed more, then
So-
it would have to be rated R.
I don't know why it's like such a gruesome thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure David Blaine stabs like an ice pick in himself once every other month, like in his hand.
Yeah, next scene, I'm definitely sure this is Grish's scene. It's Why So Serious.
Me watching, he takes the knife to her, laughing while he does it. He turns to me, and he says, "Why so serious?" He comes at me with the knife. "Why so serious?" He sticks the blade in my mouth. Let's put a smile on that face. And... why so serious?
That's the
Yeah.
quote that I was the other quote.
Oh, that's not.
I was talking
Yeah. It's not my quote, but that was.
Yeah, it's the start of, like, the Joker, like, origin theories. Like, he has, like, this one and the other one, like, later in the movie. And it's just another amazing monologue. My favorite part of the scene is actually, like, the musical sting that happens, like, when he kills the guy.
Yeah.
It's like a huge build up in the music, and then like he looks at the guy, he says, "Why so serious?" And then like it's silent for like the kill, but like you can hear the music in the background. I just thought it's really cool.
Dude, yeah, honestly.
And this is
Everything the Joker says is just like a quote. Like, I'm thinking about the next few ones. I'm like, wait, he says that too. Like,
I was low-key disappointed when they killed Gamble, which is the black dude. I was like, dude, he looks like such a cool
gang
character. I hope he like stays on, and then he just dies. And I was like, God damn.
this guy seems like he has so much depth. I should hope they don't kill him.
getting attached to
Out of
Gamble.
all like the mob bosses that like survived and
members.
died, they killed Gamble. I was like, God damn.
Wait,
it.
wasn't Gamble like he was like one of the higher ups though, right?
Yeah, it was Gamble.
And then the dude's
Actually, he wasn't one of like the higher ups. He was one of the like the lower gang. Like members,
like,
which is why he gets killed.
He like talked.
The real gangs in Gotham are like the Maronis and the Falcons, which is what they talk about.
The
That's what they talk about in the first movie.
You got the bats and the falcons.
The bats and the mans.
Oh, Why So Serious is like
iconic.
is like associated with the Joker. You know, like that's like his.
Yeah,
quote.
it's the catchphrase associated with the Joker, the movie, like everything.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that like in other adaptations of the Joker, he doesn't have the scars. Like,
what do you mean?
Because I watched this. So this is one of the first like Batman movies that I watched. Like Joker doesn't always have the scars for his smile. Like sometimes he's just makeup.
You didn't have him in the
And
most
that's
recent
something that was
Joker
characteristic
movie.
of this movie.
He does.
Yeah, that was his makeup, right?
I saw about the Jared Leto one where he had like the mouth on his face and he'd go like this, his mouth on his head and he'd go like this. It's so stupid. He put like his hand
yeah.
over.
So
Different.
cringy.
Different background stories for different.
It's multiple
like,
choice,
universes.
yeah. His background is
Yeah,
multiple
so that's actually
choice, yeah.
my next scene, which is the Joker crashing the party.
Smile again. I just want her to know that I don't care about the scars. So, I stick a razor in my mouth and do this to myself. And you know what? She can't stand the sight of me. She leaves. Now I see the funny side. Now I'm always smiling. A little fight in you. I like that. Then you're gonna love me.
So this is his
I
second
know how I
origin
got
story,
these scars, yeah.
and yeah, how he talks about how he got the scars, and he's just like nonchalantly walking around asking if anyone's seen Harvey.
That's
And
such a
so
fun
that's pretty
scene,
cool. Apparently this was the first time Michael Caine, who plays Alfred,
Yeah.
saw Ledger without his full makeup, and with his full makeup, and he had a line in that scene, but he was so shocked when he saw him that he didn't say it. So
Oh, is that the one they kept
like
in?
that just shows you how like in character he was
Yeah.
and stuff.
That whole scene is just so good. Like everything he said, because like the whole scene is just him talking basically, and then like up until the end when Batman's like let her go and he's like very poor choice of words, and then lets her.
Yeah,
That's
that was
so
genuinely
good.
funny.
That's
Like,
so
I was like,
good.
that's a good one.
Like, but I'm saying like everything he says, like I'm just like I remember that like all these like quotes. I don't remember anything that Batman says like straight up, or like Gordon.
I don't even remember the plot of the movie that well, but I just remember
the
all
iconic
Joker
scenes and then
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was gonna
how
say
they
I
loosely
think
They survived a
strung
long
together.
time.
I was gonna say I think the next scene that you're gonna hit Sujay is the one I was gonna talk about.
Okay, my next scene / quote is some men just want to watch the world burn.
Because some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Is that yours?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Well, yeah,
That's also
that's
iconic though.
a great monologue, and this time it's delivered by Michael Caine instead of Joker, and he has a very soothing voice, and I just like
He
like
just
hearing him
he
talk
just
in
plays the
movies and
old
stuff.
rich guy in every movie.
And he kind of summarizes Joker's whole motives that like it's not he doesn't really care about anything, and like it's just a good analogy for him. I also wrote that this is the start of the edgy like Joker Lord stuff. Like, we have to realize is like this movie came in a time when like meme culture just started in the internet.
yeah.
So I think a lot of these quotes became memes
Yeah.
for the reason that like
There was like
people,
that meme
started to
that was like
identify
really
with it.
old when like it was like some men just want to watch the world and it's something that rhymes with burn and it was like a teacher is like learn or something like that.
Yeah, like I
And
guess
I remember that phase.
all
Very
these
early
phrases
memes,
from these
yeah.
memes that became viral, and I'm just realizing that they came from Dark. Like when I first watched, I was like, "Wait, did Dark Knight steal these from the memes, or did they?" Like, I realized no, it's the other way around.
The Dark
Yeah, it's
Knight.
definitely the start of like edgy culture on like Joker just became the like, face of edgy culture
Yeah.
on the internet. But yeah. Alright, next scene I have is the interrogation.
That was
scene.
mine.
You've changed things. Forever.
Then why do you want to kill me?
I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. No, you complete me.
You're garbage. Who kills for money?
Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like
So
me.
this is a great like back and forth between first Joker and Commissioner Gordon and then Joker and
Batman,
Batman. and it kind of shows the difference between the two of them, as well as the dichotomy between Batman and Joker. They're really like two sides of the same coin. And Joker really exemplifies the whole like some men just want to watch the world burn when he talks about like what he wants to like. He doesn't care about this, like, you have nothing to threaten me with.
Yeah.
Ledger actually wanted Christian Bale to hit him as hard as he possibly could to like get the whole feel for the scene, which I thought was
I was
cool.
gonna say, like, after listening to you guys' favorite scenes, I realized that, like, once again, the only reason this is my favorite scene is because of the Joker monologue when he's talking to Batman, and like that, like I like remember that whole thing so vividly. Like, he just like, even before I rewatched the movie, I knew that scene, like, because I feel like I've seen it a lot randomly, but like he first hits him in the head, he's like, never hit the victim in this, they forget. And then his whole monologue when he's like, you just kill me and all that, he's like, why would I want to kill you, you complete, and like the whole like you complete me. I can't say it as good as he does, but like you guys get the idea. But like,
insert the
that
quote
whole,
what he has,
I
like,
think so.
what happens when an immovable force or unstoppable force meets an immovable object? It's like, you won't kill me for your reasons, and I won't kill you because you're just too much fun, or something like that.
Yeah.
That was actually my last quote. It was that, and it shows this is a concept that's from like The Killing Joke. I know Grish has seen it or read it.
I think
if you haven't, it's basically one of like the Joker origins comics. Yeah, and in the end, Batman is talking to Joker, and he's like, "Why do we like? When is this ever gonna end?" And he says they're destined to like do this battle forever. And then it lives off ambiguously if he kills him.
I think
or not,
he does in the movie, the cartoon that they made. I think he did kill him, right? In the end.
It ends ambiguously. So like he starts laughing, and then he's like strangling him, or it looks like he's strangling him, and then it just cuts off, and the laughing stops.
Yeah.
It's actually in the Japanese August of 2017.
No, wait.
But yeah,
I think I saw that the comic books that was adapted was from The Killing Joke, and then like the Harvey Dent origin story, because it was just those two combined basically into one story. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I think that's right. So like that was my last one, and my second to last was the whole boat social experiment thing that Joker did.
That's a good scene. Yeah,
that was just a great sociology thing.
I never watched the first movie, but again, like the DC vibe to me is like the towards the end of every movie is like this epic like villain scene, like where the pinnacle of the. I mean, that's like all superhero movies, but again, it's like mostly in like Marvel movies, it's like a battle.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man one.
The hero's gonna win.
The Sam Raimi Spider-Man one. Like, the first one is literally he's holding he's holding the woman and a child full of children in the other hand.
Yeah, and like Marvel's whole thing is like every single movie they just make the battle like longer and more like fighting. But like in the DC movies, like
most of it's just finding him,
but it's not always like it's not always a fight. It's just
like
you can tell like this
also,
is the pinnacle.
I'd like to say that like if that boat experiment happened in real life, there's like 100% no way that one of the boats wouldn't blow up the other. Like 100%.
If would you pull the trigger?
The convicts.
Wait, would you do it though?
I don't think I would do it.
It shows when they took an anonymous vote, the civilians voted to kill, but when it came time to actually do it, nobody actually wanted to do it.
I interpreted it as the civilians actually didn't vote. Like not enough people voted to kill.
I think it relates.
They voted to kill, and the guy said, "Okay, who's gonna do it?" And then one guy said he'd do it, but then he didn't actually.
It relates to like the psychological. So like, do you know the real problem where it's like you like either hit one dude or you hit 5 people and you have to like change the track, right? Whatever. So like, I think it's like if you just like decide like what happens.
I think you butchered the problem.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Trolley
like
problem.
The one
Look it up.
The trolley problem. Yeah, but I think it's like. Once like if you do like whatever, but once you add the choice that like you have to pull the lever that like kills the person, like a significant amount of people just like won't do it, because like if they involve themselves doing it, like it's a lot harder to do, whereas it's easy to vote like mathematically speaking what they should do when they actually like physically have to do it, like they can't, like it's just hard to do it yourself. So I think like that relates.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying, like I personally probably would not do it just because of this whole thing. But I guarantee you, if there was a ship of both these people,
boat full of convicts,
100%.
Nah, man, there's gonna be that big black dude who walks up and is like, "Give it to me,
and I'll do what you should have done 10
like,
minutes
fuck
ago."
I think
dude,
that was almost that boat experiment was. I don't even know if it's a bigger, like, example of what the earlier scenario where he's like, kill this dude or I'll blow up all the hospitals. And like in that moment, it's like, bro, I would kill that dude, like low key. Like you can judge me all you want, but like if you're talking about a hospital full of hundreds of people,
it's hard. Though.
Wait, I
That's
guess,
the point.
yeah.
But
it's like when you can think you'll obviously do it.
Okay, fine.
Like,
No, okay. Regardless of whether you
gun.
would do it or not, but like, would you value like? I was a little confused. Was like, is that guy special in a way? Like, does he?
No, because the reason they wanted to kill him is because he found out like who the Batman was, and like Joker didn't want that happening.
But then why would they? Why did Batman try to save him?
Because he doesn't want to kill this random dude.
Yeah, he just let people die.
Like,
But by saving that guy, he
shtick.
let the hospital blow up, and of course everybody was miraculous.
He was trying to save both, yeah.
What? No, but like everyone in the
Like, his
hospital was
whole
saved. But
point-
like, what if by saving him, like I don't know, hundreds of people in the hospital died? That's what I was like confused at.
I don't know, dude.
He knew what he was doing.
It's like I don't know, like in that situation, like the movie magic works out, but like.
Yeah,
I don't
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm willing to accept, like, not accept, but like a lot of this stuff seems pretty realistic. But the most unrealistic part of this movie for me was that they were on. If this two ship stuff happened, like, there's 100% chance that one of them would blow.
I think the convicts would do it.
I honestly
yeah,
would. I wouldn't be like surprised if the regular guys, because they had a good conversation too. They were like, why should they get a second chance? Like we haven't done.
No, yeah, but
so
yeah,
like I would.
No, the reasoning for both is obvious, but then like
I don't think
when you hand someone a trigger, like a normal person would struggle.
Oh yeah, I guess
there's got to be one convict on that.
He's like, yeah, I'll
Just
fucking
doesn't
do it. Yeah,
do it for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, but like, yeah, everything else in the movie, I was like, hey, this makes sense. And then I got to that scene, I was like, dude, like, nah.
No, I don't know. Alright, do you guys have any other favorite scenes that I didn't mention?
I mean, I was surprised you left out the super famous hospital blowing up scene, right?
Yeah, hospitals. Okay, so
yeah, I
read that.
I don't know.
I read that apparently. I don't know if this is true because there's a lot of kind of stuff this goes going on. But that, do you know how he's like walking away from the hospital and then he like presses the button and it like doesn't work and he like hits it a few times and then like it blows up and he like
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I heard that when they were filming that like the button actually didn't work and he just like stayed in character and like did that and then like it blew up and he was like, and it's just in the movie.
Because they only had one shot to do that kind of explosion, right?
And then I think another thing from the hospital scene that I saw was like, do you know how he hands Harvey the gun? He's like, shoot me.
The gun was actually loaded, so he was actually playing with his life.
No, he wasn't. The gun...
That's how good he was in character. He
told
gave
him
him a
before the
loaded
scene,
gun.
he was like, please actually
No,
shoot
apparently the way he's holding it, he's like holding the hammer up.
That's how he died.
Stop. But apparently the way he's holding the gun, like he's holding the hammer up, so even if he pulls the trigger, like it won't fire.
Oh,
so,
really?
Like he just wants him to think. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen both of those. I think they're both true.
Yeah. But...
I mean, at least the gun one, you know, is true because
you can see him holding the hammer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, cool. Then we'll move on to our next category, which is Zuko Award. Which character has the best development? Is there really any contest?
No.
I think Joker is the clear winner. Brian's usually the
black sheep,
the wild
I
card.
mean, I feel like you can make a good argument for Harvey Dent, right? Like
I was gonna say Harvey
that's
Dent.
what
Could be another good.
Like you threw me in for a loop because I wasn't expecting anything because I was watching.
Brian
this
got
first
juked
time.
out.
Yeah, no, and to see him go from good guy to villain in the end to
no, for you, he started off as a villain, then he came in as a good guy, and you were like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Wait, what? What did you say?
For you, it was like the added twist, because you were like, oh, he's the bad guy.
Oh, yeah, because I remember hearing the name Harvey Dent in like Two-Face, and I was like, oh, this guy's bad. But then he started off as a good guy. And then
and it was like, and then he became a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Joker clearly, just because Heath Ledger, honestly. But I feel like you could make a case for Harvey Dent. I feel like if
those are
Joker
two.
wasn't dominating.
Those are also both characters that are only in this movie, like the whole trilogy. Like I feel like they develop Bruce Wayne over the course of all the movies, and then like I guess Commissioner Gordon as well. But Harvey and Joker are both only in this movie, and that's why they do a really good job of developing.
All the villains are one-off in the trilogy, I think. Wait, who's the villain in Begins? I forget.
Ra's al Ghul.
Oh yeah.
And Scarecrow.
Really?
Scarecrow's in that movie too.
Yeah, but like all the villains are one-offs, honestly. Except I guess Ra's al Ghul kind of comes back and rises.
Yo, spoilers
alert,
bro.
Scarecrow is in the
really
beginning of this
Oh
movie.
yeah. Well, he like
What?
yeah.
Spoilers.
You know what I mean.
Give warnings to our viewers.
Yeah, I said Joker because of like it just shows him as like a really like just agent of chaos the entire movie. Like he doesn't shift from this. He has no like plans or anything.
Very chaotic.
Yeah, they're crazy, but they're also like weirdly
Evil.
poetic. Like they like make you think about stuff and like see like I could definitely see how he thought they were jokes because of like how society works, but like they're fucked up, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the more you think about it, like Joker had a good point.
Kind of right.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can make a villain like
relatable,
seem so justified, it's like it's just kudos, I guess.
Kudos.
Do you know, Sujay, have you been on Ali/Danos did nothing wrong? Yeah, I feel like
I'm not that
same, but I was like, I feel like that's what I feel like when I watch this movie. Like, if I don't know if there is one, but like Ali/Joker did nothing wrong, like that could totally be a sub. Like, a lot of his motives are very clearly defined.
Very different than R/Hitler did nothing wrong.
Wait, what?
Same thing. Hitler and Thanos, man.
Nah, but yeah.
Two sides, same coin.
But yeah, no, I could say like Joker. Just honestly, yeah, what you said. It's also Heath Ledger just does a really good job of portraying him, and he's just such a good actor that like he kind of just sells the last bit.
If you guys haven't figured it out by now, Girish would have sucked Heath Ledger's dick in a second. I mean,
such a good actor, man.
All right, then we'll keep going to our next sequel or prequel. So this movie's in the middle of a trilogy, so it's very easy. The one prequel I would have asked for Joker for The Dark Knight would have been Joker, which already ended up getting made. So
yeah,
I guess I'm happy about that.
This basically had all of it. It had a prequel, a sequel, and then like another prequel, and then like
a spin-off prequel.
A live action movie. It actually did have a live action movie too. So. They really hit it all. They had an animated series. I mean,
okay,
what
wait, my headphones just died. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this audio recording because you're gonna get like your voices in the background as well. I can try to turn down your voices so it's not as loud. And just go with that.
Do you not have plug-in headphones?
No.
No.
It's okay. I think this will work.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah,
we'll go
to
on
answer the question, yes.
Our next category, which is trivia and parallel universe. So this is kind of the opposite of the last movie. I actually found so much trivia for this movie. So this is the cut down version of what I found online.
I also realized, another solution to this, I could mute you guys and just read based like solely off the closed captioning and respond to you that way.
Closed captions.
I'm gonna try that right now, and we'll see how that goes. If it becomes too bad,
we can
I will
see
unmute
what
you
you're
guys.
seeing. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the alternative is I'll just mute.
All right, so I just
whenever
muted
you're not
you
talking.
guys. All right, we'll see how this goes.
All right, see if you can follow along.
Brian, say hi.
Mango.
Stay high, Mango. Wait.
I just keep going.
This is dangerous.
All right, so we'll start with some casting changes. So for the role of Rachel Dawes, Katie Holmes was originally supposed to reprise her role. Did you know that she played her in the first movie? Like, I had no idea they changed the actresses for her because like they look the same, Katie Holmes and Maggie Gyllenhaal. So I didn't even realize they changed the actresses, but apparently they did for this movie. So for the role of Rachel Dawes, Isla Fisher, Emily Blunt, and Rachel McAdams were all considered.
Again,
before Maggie Gyllenhaal.
I honestly didn't watch Begin, so I couldn't tell the difference. But I could picture Isla Fisher and Emily Blunt just because I've seen them in serious roles, kind of. But I think Emily Blunt would still be the better choice. But I think they did a good job at this.
Yeah. For the role of Harvey Dent, Matt Damon was offered the part, but he actually opted out because he had a scheduling conflict with another movie. In addition, Hugh Jackman and Mark Ruffalo were also considered for the role.
Of Harvey Dent?
I
think they did.
Matt Damon, maybe.
Matt Damon doesn't strike me as like a...
Matt Damon's always the good guy.
Which would be interesting to see him be the bad guy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like
he also doesn't really.
He doesn't have the. I think they did a really good job with Harvey Dent. Like, it's hard for me to see anyone in the main three people cast any differently for this movie, at least. Like the Batman, Joker.
So obviously for the Joker, they could have gone a different direction.
Yeah, so for the Joker, these people publicly expressed interest, so they weren't considered, but they all said that they wanted to be, and I thought it was really interesting. So we have Paul Bettany, who plays
Vision
in the Marvel movies, Steve Carell, and Robin Williams.
No.
Yeah.
Yo, Robin
Dude,
Williams.
Steve Carell would be so funny because in the
Steve
office,
Carell
in
would
the
have been
office
such
they
a
have
funny
two
Joker, not
other
gonna
dudes
lie.
dressed up as
Like, he would not, I don't know if he could do the serious
He'd be the
stuff, but,
comedic
like,
Joker,
no,
not like.
He'd be like the no, because the
He
Joker
probably
is
didn't
in
realize the
movies.
Joker was like a psychopath. He was like, "Oh man, I'm signing up for a comedian. Like, sign me up," you know? Like,
No, because also the thing is,
He's like, I'm a Joker.
the thing the thing is, when they started, like, there's like 4 different like there's a bunch of different Jokers, and I think the one before this one was like the Jack Nicholson one, right? If I don't know, but he was the like comedic one,
I think so.
and so he was he was like more of the guy who cracked jokes and wasn't like as much of a psycho. So like if they were basing off that, I can't remember if it's Jack Nicholson, but it was like the older
pretty sure
Joker,
it is.
yeah.
Yeah, so Willem Dafoe was also considered for the role, and I think that's in big part because he played Green
Yeah.
Goblin as like a kind of psychotic, like
See, but Green
kind
Goblin
of funny, I
no,
guess.
he's not supposed to be funny, but he's just so funny in that movie. Which
But
is
he comes
he's
off
the
as funny
funniest
because he's so
character.
psychotic.
Yeah, I think I mean, obviously they did the best job they could. Like, I can't see anyone else as Joker, but I think like if I hadn't seen this
Yes.
movie, out of like all the people you probably listed, I could like maybe see Willem Dafoe, and like maybe I could see Mark Ruffalo, right? Is that who you said?
Mark Ruffalo is for Harvey Dent. So the reason that Heath Ledger got this part was because he originally auditioned for in Batman Begins to play Bruce Wayne,
Ooh.
and he didn't get it, obviously. But when he came back for The Dark Knight, Chris Columbus really wanted him to play the Joker. So, like, we've all heard about like the method acting that he
Yeah,
does. So
it's
I'll just tell you
crazy.
exactly what he did to prepare for the role. So in preparation for his role, he hid away in a motel room for about 6 weeks.
6 weeks?
And
I thought it was a
during this
week,
extended,
dude.
like, seclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in quarantine before anyone
I
else.
actually thought it
like-
was a week when I was in calling.
No, like, during this extended stay, he delved, like, deep into the psychology. He devoted himself to developing every, like, tick that the Joker has, namely the voice and his laugh. So those are, like, everything he did for the role, and, like, it, like, obviously shows that, like, he put a lot of work into it. And, like, obviously, like, people have said, like, this is what drove him insane
Yeah.
and stuff, but he probably had, like, a lot of mental issues.
Dude, imagine like being
Going
in
into-
that hotel and you just like see a dude like laughing and like acting psychotic and like walk out of the hotel room, and you're like that'd be scary. Like you're just trying to enjoy your stay. Damn.
But, like, yeah, this is how you do method
Yeah.
acting. Like, you stay alone for a period of time and, like, just be your character. Like, not whatever shit that Jared Leto
No,
did.
Jared
like,
Leto, I
Bro,
know
he's
that
just
Joker.
self-quarantined.
he sent like a dead rat
Self-quarantined
to Margot
himself.
Robbie.
We're all doing it right now.
Yeah, like, he just sent shit to his, like, castmates and just fucked with people because he, like, thought he was funny, but I don't approve. Yeah, so some of the moments that were improv, like you said, the bomb scene, that was improv. When Gordon gets promoted to commissioner and he's in jail, he claps, and that's improvised. They just, like, swerve the camera to him and him doing it, so... And that lick that he does, like, whenever he's like, I know, I got these scars.
Oh, that was
like
impressive.
that, he did that originally because the prosthetic makeup kept coming off, and he had to keep it in place. But he ended up incorporating into the character.
It's like in Harry Potter, in the 4th movie when he's like,
Yeah.
spoilers.
I have 2 last trivia points. So the mask that the Joker wears when he's robbing the bank in the beginning of the movie, that's the nod to the first time the Joker is shown in Batman, the television series. It's played by Cesar Romero, and that's the paint that he wears. So it's a nod to that. And lastly, I have that the Dark Knight trilogy is only one of 3 trilogies that has all 3 of its movies in the IMDb's top 250 movies.
Oh.
You guys want to guess what the other 2 are?
Oh, okay. The other one,
Hunger Games.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings is one, so you got that.
Damn.
I guess it's not Hunger Games.
It is not Hunger Games.
Yeah,
One of the
Technically
most
4
famous,
movies.
famous trilogies.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah,
Star
Star Wars.
Wars.
Yeah, the original trilogy. You tell me the prequel's not there?
So that's pretty good. All right, then we'll move on to personal impact. So this for me, like, it was just kind of questions more than like anything specifically. So I just want to know what you guys think. First question: should Batman kill the Joker?
Yeah.
Do you think that would end crime? / is it?
Hey man,
Is basically the question is, does the morality of himself outweigh the needs of everyone in Gotham?
I've played Injustice, man. The right answer is he should have killed the Joker. No, but honestly though, I think he should. Like, I personally think, not like I wouldn't, but I think given everything that happens, I think maybe in the beginning he's like justified because it's the whole thing, but like after the repeated attempts, when he just sees like, all right, he's just gonna go back and like do more like random stuff and like harm the people, then I would be like, okay, like I kind of have to.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like he believes that he can like solve it in his own way without killing you. It's hard to like tell him not, like to give up.
Stop being a pussy.
Like, you're basically telling him to give up if he kills himself.
I mean, that's why like
that
that's why the whole Joker's thing was a win-win, because even if he dies, then that means he like won because Batman broke his oath.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing I never understood. Why doesn't Batman kill anybody? I feel like that's part of his character, but it was never explained, at least in this.
Like
the one rule.
That's what defines Batman.
The one thing that keeps...
It's part of his character. It's just like one oath that he doesn't kill anyone.
But like,
And,
why?
He wrestles with it a lot and more in the comics. I think it's something to do with like when he was training with the League or something. It's more explained in the first movie, honestly, probably. But he just feels like it's part of his moral code that he shouldn't kill people. Which I guess works in like well, that's something interesting about the.
Oh
DC
wait,
movies.
actually,
Like, as serious as
I
they
do
are,
remember. There's
they
another
don't kill
quote that's
people.
probably from Batman, but it was like something's like, if you kill a killer, the number of killers in the world stays the same.
Stays the same, yeah. Wait, but I
don't know if that's from Batman.
I've heard that.
It's
Wait,
from
why
some
wouldn't it be
Batman
from
thing, not the Dark Knight.
I don't know.
I don't think it's from the Dark Knight trilogy, but it's from some Batman thing. And I've seen that quote, and I've seen
the
like
means is like if you
like people made another panel, and Deadpool is like, not if you kill me.
yeah, if you kill one dude, then you just keep going. That doesn't work.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, so I guess like, do the ends justify the means? That's just a question that it was brought up for me. I also said like this movie kind of shows how much gray there is in like the whole good versus evil thing, because like so Batman, Gordon, and Dent are all portrayed as like heroes, and they all have a certain amount of darkness in them, which makes them less pure. And like a lot of the cops like were on like the gangsters' payrolls and stuff, and so like even the citizens like weren't all innocent or anything. So like it kind of showed you how much like, I guess, not gray there is.
Gotham is just a fucked up place.
Yeah, I mean, like I think it's the hero that Gotham needs, but not the one that they deserve, because they deserve someone a lot better because they're like pretty messed up.
Yeah. And
What
then
time period
last
is this
question-
supposed to be set in?
Like modern day.
I mean, I think it was like early
Yeah,
2000s
like,
because they have like cell phones.
When the
like
movie
that,
came out, I
but-
think that was the time period that it was supposed to be in.
But also like higher tech.
Well,
I mean,
that's
like,
just for
in the
Bruce
case of Batman,
Wayne,
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah. So, last question. If Bruce Wayne spent his money improving the infrastructure of Gotham City to eradicate organized crime, would he stop more crime than dressing up as Batman and saving people like that?
What's the fun in that, man?
I mean, I think...
Yeah, stop being a party pooper, Sujay. You're asking Bruce Wayne to turn into a politician here?
Yeah. So I read a lot of articles when I was reading for like which billionaire should be Batman, and it says like this is the reason why Batman doesn't exist today, because billionaires can help the world more by donating money, which obviously they should donate money, but that's why Batman doesn't exist today.
Maybe he believes that the system is broken.
Yeah, that's a... I don't know.
All right, you guys have any personal impact you want to share?
Maybe just question, like you said, maybe question what's going on, because that's like the whole point of the movie, and like it really does show that there's no like, because I watched this when I was young. This was like one of the first movies I watched that kind of explored the concept of like there's not just black and white, there's like a middle ground, and that's like hard to judge.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I just enjoyed this movie really because the thing I enjoy about it is the thing that I enjoy about all DC movies, which is how powerful the villain is and like how, like
Their message.
when you asked that question earlier about like should Batman have killed Joker, I know this wasn't what you were asking, but I just thought about it and I was like, I would have been much more upset if the Batman had killed Joker than if Joker killed Batman.
Yeah,
like
that's the whole point.
Yeah.
Really?
because like
because
because the Joker is like the main character in my eyes, like
oh, that's not why I said I'd be sad. I said I'd be sad because
or it's just like he's like the way that they build up the Joker is just so cool to me. I don't know. That's the only thing I took from the movie. I didn't take anything like personal away from it. But yeah.
I think the point that you made, Will, is one of the reasons I liked Infinity War a lot. Different movie, but same sort of concept where they made Thanos a really good villain.
Thanos is the
to
main
point where
character.
I
He's
was
the main character.
even
in the
okay with
movie,
him
yeah.
sort of coming out on top versus some of the other Marvel movies
Yeah.
where they might have just like a more cookie cutter villain where
One
there's like,
dimensional
oh, they're
character,
gonna
yeah.
just
Generic
win
bad
and
guy.
whatever.
No, Infinity War
Marvel
was
didn't have
like
the balls to
about
go through with
Thanos.
it,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah,
And-
so this is going into one of my underrated, so we'll just move right into that category. But what I said was you don't need to be a huge superhero fan to enjoy this movie, which is
Yeah.
I think really important. They got people who weren't superhero fans to really enjoy it, and I said this is actually more of a mob movie than anything. Like the way they like show crime and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and like corrupted police and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you because like in the way that today, if you want to watch a superhero movie, there's like a few you could watch like just as a standalone, but most of them you need to do like 3 movies of research. Like this is like the 5th installment in like this entire universe, and you need to kind of like
Not even that. Like it's just so formulaic. Like it's like movie starts like superhero origin story. Like everyone has a
Yeah.
origin story now.
Yeah.
And like they didn't even have that in this movie because it was like the second in the trilogy, so like you just got the hero straight up and then
the Joker's was not
compelling villains.
Yeah, I guess that is. I think another underrated thing, kind of moving from that about the movie, is how they managed to not make it feel as long as it was. Like I feel like there was not really a part that was like kind of dragging, you know, like every scene felt kind of necessary in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Brian, you
Yeah.
said like, how's there still an hour and a half in this movie? What point were you in the movie at that?
Yeah, I remember watching, and it was at the point where the Batman actually captured Joker, and I was like, "Oh shit! Roll the credits. It's over. Like we got him, guys."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Wait a
That's
second.
when you
There's
think
still
it's
half
over.
a movie left. What happened?"
I mean, it is almost 2 movies because there's like the whole first half when he catches the Joker, and then the second half when Harvey Dent becomes the villain. So like you very reasonably could split it into 2 movies.
If they were Marvel, they would split it into 4
Yeah.
movies.
Like they literally would have
series.
ended like with the scene where like Joker like calls the dude's belly, and then he explodes his way out of the jail, and then been like roll credits, and then they're like Dark Knight Part 2 or something, and then
Joker will return in
made
the Dark Knight
more money
Part
off of
2.
that.
The Joker
I
explodes
like-
and he walks
I
in
like
the background
the
to like a
idea
pop
of, like,
song.
I like the idea of like, obviously they didn't explain Batman's backstory because it was the second movie, but like I like the idea of like we all know why a superhero is a superhero.
Yeah.
So like, I like the idea of a superhero movie where you just don't give a shit about the hero
I
at all
think
because like you know why he's a
that's
hero
part of the-
and like only going for the villain.
That's part of the reason why I think the new Spider-Man movie was like a lot better received than any of the other 2 trilogies, because like the first movie, I guess you kind of meet him in Civil War, but even in his own movie, like you're just like, all right, here's Spider-Man. He's doing Spider-Man things. Like you don't.
You have to watch
Everyone
Uncle Ben
knows
thing all
how
over
like Uncle
again.
Ben dies, like all that. Like they don't need to rehash it. So I think like Uncle Ben doesn't need to die a 3rd time. Like everyone kind of already knows. So that's part of why like
Yeah, that's why like when they remake Batman again,
They
like,
don't
with,
need to.
Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson. I really hope they don't
Yeah,
do the
'cause
origin
it
story.
works really well,
'Cause if I
yeah.
have to see the fucking like,
if I have to see this
like,
man falling
pearls
down.
like, I know the exact.
Well, you kind of
scene,
already
like-
saw it with Joker, right? In Joker, you see the pearls like
Yeah,
flying.
yeah.
And I think that's in the same universe as Robert Pattinson's Batman now. So
And that's like the 4th time I've seen that scene in like a different.
it's always the
That's
same.
like what gives all the the diehard fans like boners though. Like that's what they come to see is like those scenes, and they're like, oh dude, I know exactly what this is.
No,
yeah, that shit.
the thing is,
Because I saw it like 3 times already.
the thing is though, at least like, in like I'll say Spider-Man because that's the only one I can kind of relate to. When they show Uncle Ben dying, like at least he does like kind of 2 separate-ish ways both times. Like I guess in the first one doesn't count because they kind of like retcon Sandman in somehow, but in the Batman one, like it's frame by frame the same thing every single
They
time.
literally just copy it and then like CGI different actors in. Like,
Which I don't know, but yeah, I get what you said. Like I think we've started moving towards an era when they just need to start making superhero movies and be like, all right, here he is doing superhero things. Like you guys know why he's a superhero at this point if you're watching this movie.
Yeah,
It's a good way to
the villains are the new heroes. People are more interested in villains. I am. I'm like,
you either.
if you watch, like,
Damn,
your
Will
15
spinning out
superhero
the
movie,
deep
it's like,
facts right here.
yeah, that's why I think the last
He's-
DC movie
he's
was
getting out
Joker.
all the hot
not
takes
You either-
right now.
Batman.
You either die liking the villain or live long enough to no. You either die liking the hero or live long enough to see yourself liking the villain.
Yeah.
All right, other underrated stuff that I had. I said casting, so we all talk about Heath Ledger, so I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
Heath Ledger.
But I think Michael Caine as Alfred is like really good. Like he's my favorite Alfred. Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon. The fact that you have Morgan Freeman playing Lucius Fox, like Morgan Freeman in like a minor role, just shows you how good of a movie this was.
Yeah.
I also really like the performance as Bruce Wayne, not like Batman, because there's that one scene I think like right after he saves the dude, and like he crashes his car, and like he's talking to Commissioner Gordon's talking to Bruce Wayne, and he's like, did you know that you were saving him? And he's like, no, why? Is he someone important? Like he's been all over the
Yeah.
news. Like that was just a really funny like showing of him like pretending to be Bruce Wayne. So I think that was really good.
Yeah.
I also had costumes. The costumes are really nice in this movie. This is my favorite Batsuit out of all of like the new ones and like the old ones.
I think out of all the Jokers,
it's kind of a good.
I think also out of all the Jokers,
It's kind of a good mesh. Yeah, Joker's purple
Yeah,
suit.
I think out of all of them, like if
Yeah.
you ask me who, like okay, obviously like ignoring Heath Ledger, I think this is like the definitive costume, like because like when you compare it to the other ones, like
for sure.
not Jared Leto's costume, and this new Joker movie, like this, it was a really good movie, but like it's a little like clown more kind of instead of like like I always picture like this purple suit, like the cracked face makeup and all that, like that's like the really good that's the Joker costume in my eyes, you know.
Yeah.
I mean,
That
this
plus
is
the
like
Batsuit. The Batsuit's just like sleeker. Like I think like I really don't like the new Batsuit because it's so bulky, but like this
Yeah.
one it was like really good. But yeah, Joker's purple suit was very comic book accurate, I think. Like that's something that they shied away from in like earlier movies because they thought it would be too much like zany, I guess, but like he pulls it off.
And they even like he's supposed to have green hair, and like they made it in a way that it was subtle enough, but like not like so much green that his hair was green. Like he had green shades in his hair.
Yeah, it
but
just looked like
it was
greasy, oily, homeless hair, but like
yeah, it
green
looked
at the
like
same time.
a little green, like not any of this new stuff where his hair is just like bright green, you know, like it was a very normal green hair if it can like be like that, you know.
Yeah, like you walk down the street, you see the guy with green hair.
Yeah, it's like that looks pretty normal. Like if you saw Jared,
That's the one.
normal.
I also had music score.
Uh,
Your boy Hans Zimmer.
I mean, that's not underrated though.
Any Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, that's not underrated. Everyone knows Hans Zimmer is a god.
Yeah, but who talks about the music when they talk about Dark Knight?
Yo, no, like I know I've already talked about Dark Knight Rises like 3 times already, but like I did a project my freshman year. This is the last time I watched
Of
Dark
high
Knight
school or
Rises.
college?
I did a no freshman year of college for like an honor seminar about how the music in Dark Knight Rises like single-handedly like develops Bane as like a character, basically like how it, you know, like I forget what the word is, but like in operas they have the thing where like a character comes out and he's associated with that music and all that.
Leitmotif.
Catharsis.
Motif. Yeah.
Motif, yeah.
Leitmotif, yeah.
But just it wasn't even about motif, but it was just like how the music, like more than anything, like you just got a guy standing in a football stadium and then the music behind it is what defines the whole scene. I don't know. Point being,
Did Hans
that these
Zimmer
movies have good music.
also score the Dark Knight Rises?
He scored a lot of DC. I think he scored almost every DC.
Was it the whole
movie,
trilogy?
yeah.
Probably the whole trilogy.
I know he scored more like DC movies too. I think. Did he do the Batman v Superman one? Because I know Mr. Myers like played that. In
Hans
class
Zimmer did
once.
Superman,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he did the
I know he did Man of Steel.
Yeah, Man of Steel.
I don't know if he did
Bat Superman.
Superman.
He's. I mean, I
I thought you were
don't think
talking
he's
about
that
Man of Steel when
underrated.
you said Superman. I don't know,
Yeah.
but I know he did Man of Steel for sure.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
All right, last thing I had was just the amount, like the climax of the movie, how much chaos there is in that whole entire climax scene.
Chaos
I
is
thought
a
it was
lot.
very symbolic of Joker. Just like I was thinking about it during the movie, but how many things are going on at the climax at once? So first of all, the boat thing is going on. Secondly, the hostages are dressed up as thugs.
Oh yeah,
so there's that
I
chaos
forgot
thrown
about
in there.
that.
Then Batman's sonar, like he has all the
Yeah.
phones, and like Lucius is also in his ear talking to him. And on top of all of this, Harvey's also on his own rampage, and all of these things are happening at the same time.
Yeah.
And then
And I think the way they did that was really
Joker's
well
just
done.
like chilling somewhere.
Joker. Had some shit going on. Like, who else can pull all that off at once?
Hey man, he's a mastermind.
It's nice to have a pinnacle of a superhero movie without like everyone just fighting face to face though. You know.
Alright, any other underrated we'd like to mention?
No.
Alright, then we'll move on to overrated. I don't have a lot, but first two things. First one is interesting you mentioned the fighting. I said the hand-to-hand fighting scenes in this movie are not amazing. Like, if you go back and watch
I've
them
seen
for a
the-
Batman
yeah.
movie, they're so
I've
basic.
seen that one scene
like,
on loop when like that guy's like running and he looks like and he just like flies back on his own.
Like, it's literally just like block, like fake
Yeah.
punch.
But
Like,
yeah, it's
Yeah,
what Will
but, like,
says.
I
It's
guess
like
I'm
this
used to
movie
like,
doesn't rely on the fighting to make it interesting, whereas I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
movies. Like,
Yeah, but that-
what was the Avengers?
I'm like,
that
yeah,
Age
that's
of
what I'm saying,
Ultron,
like,
or
I'm-
it was one of the Avenger movies where literally like the last fighting scene lasted 40 minutes
Infinity
or something
War,
like that.
yeah. Infinity War and Endgame had to combine like
the entirety of Endgame. Again?
No, but it was an earlier Avengers one. I forgot which one it was, but they were like, "Oh, you gotta watch." I remember my friend telling me, he's like, "You gotta watch this movie. The last half of it is just a complete fighting scene." I was like, "Doesn't that get boring?" He's like, "No, it's awesome."
Yeah.
I was like, "No, it seems like it gets kind of
I
boring
see what-
after a while."
I mean, but yeah, like that said, the fighting is bad. Which is,
I guess I'm just conditioned for like the Captain America
They're
movies,
very
like the
good, yeah.
choreography. I say choreography because it is that at this point. Like they're just
Yeah.
so well done. Like
Yeah,
I guess I'm
yeah.
just
it's good to have
focusing on
some of that, you know.
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
even though they didn't
Could've seen a
focus
little
on
more,
the fighting was pretty bad when they did show it. So
Yeah, like if you're gonna have it, like
yeah,
a little better, but that's it. I gotta say I'm not a huge fan of Rachel Dawes either.
That's why she's only in half the
I don't know
movies.
why. She's just not very compelling for me. Like she's Batman's love interest, I guess.
Yeah, but at the end,
I don't know.
she was like
Question:
gonna
do you
put
think
her
Rachel
to
Dawes
death.
is hot or not? Hot or not?
Yeah.
Just say
Alright.
one word: hot or not.
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 I say hot. Oh, okay.
Fucking
I guess
follow
I'm. I guess I'm alone on this one.
She's kind of like
Well, me
I
and
would say, like,
Batman.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's
and
kinda
Harvey
old.
Dent.
like, she looks.
So you guys. I'm actually. It's even 3-3.
It's a
It's a
real
tie?
love square between Batman, Harvey Dent, Rachel, and Brian.
Brian Wu. No, but yeah. I think what was I gonna say?
So that would be an overrated then, I guess.
I
Yeah, you
forgot.
think that Rachel Dawes is overrated.
Oh, but
I'm not saying
Yeah.
she's overrated. Wait, you talking about Sujay? I was like, me not calling her hot is not me saying she's overrated.
no, I was gonna say, does she really count as Batman's love interest? Because like at the end, you kind of just realized that like, oh, she was just gonna marry Harvey Dent anyways, right?
He doesn't know that because remember Alfred Burns'
Oh
letter?
yeah. I guess.
I don't know. I just didn't think she was compelling. Like I guess was she in the? You guys
I haven't seen the first
I don't
one.
remember it, but
She was
in
in
it
it,
more
wasn't
in that one. I know,
Yeah.
but I don't. And this one, she was just kind of there to act as someone who would die. Like she was just set up from the beginning as someone who was gonna die.
Well, you
I don't
could tell.
know.
I
Yeah,
thought
it was-
one of the things that surprised me was that she actually did die. Like that was a pretty big plot twist for me when I was
Really?
watching the movie. I did not expect that. Yeah.
I think when I initially watched it, like when that whole thing happened, like I didn't suspect from the beginning, but like when the whole like situation arose where he's like you have to pick one, I was like, well, I know Harvey's not gonna die, and so like I wouldn't be surprised because like the Batman can't just keep winning, so like he's gonna fail and
Yeah. not having seen the first movie, so like I didn't know how big her
Yeah.
role was. I just saw her as the character in the beginning that was gonna be like the trigger,
Uh,
like she was gonna die, so that like
something, yeah. Batman.
you know, like the series, you know, like that would be the what set off the series of events. That's like
Okay, the last three that I have are kind of nitpicky, so I don't like. I'm okay with them, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. The sonar that Batman uses for everyone's phone. I like. Okay, I'm fine with that. Like, it's okay. It's whatever. I just really hate that the way that he sets up those monitors. Like, he has like literally 100 smartphones on a display. Like, how is that helpful to anyone? Like, how does Lucius know what he's doing? Like.
If we're gonna be nitpicky, can I add an earlier conversation about the entire boat scene and how that's just the most unrealistic part of the movie?
Yeah.
So are we in the overrated section now?
But yeah.
Is this
Yes, but
Yeah, Brian. If you haven't caught up, we're in Overrated.
okay? I thought so, but
He's
I'm
we have been
some
in
of it is
Overrated
lost
for
in
about the past
translation.
10
It's
minutes.
like talking with somebody with a bad interpreter.
All right, yeah. Last two nitpicks for me. When Dent dresses up as, when Joker dresses up as a nurse to go like get Dent, like he waits until he takes the mask completely off to like recognize him as Joker. This is something that people talk about on the internet a lot, but like, it's kind of stupid.
It's like, I wonder who this mysterious
Like-
dude is in a mask. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
like he literally, you could see his entire makeup on his face, and then he just takes off the mask. He's like, "Hi," and then then he reacts.
I never really think about it honestly.
And the last one I had, can we talk about how many cops there are in this city? Because at every situation with anyone, like with any police interaction, there's like 100 of them.
They
for a
have to
city
keep them
that's,
stocked.
like,
They're dropping like
supposed to be-
flies, bro.
Yeah, I guess. And like, how do they just keep getting people?
Go back,
Who wants to be a cop in this
flash
city?
forward to Dark Knight Rises when there's like 500
I'm
cops.
sure it's a sweet gig because they just like get paid for like corrupt reasons and
They're like, this position, the average life expectancy for this job is like for a couple of like 2 years maybe.
They're like, what happened to
You
the
will get
guys
paid
in,
a lot,
in
but you
cubicle
may
D?
only live a
They
month.
died 2 weeks ago. What about cubicle F?
Yeah.
That was last Sunday. Sorry, we gotta find people to replace them constantly.
Yeah, in Dark Knight Rises, like, you actually see every single cop they have, and it's a lot for, like, how bad of, like, considering how...
For one city.
Yeah, for one city and how much crime they have, like, they're not doing their job at all.
Yeah, like Gotham's supposed to be like New York City, like that size, right? Like it's supposed to be a huge, like metropolitan.
Yeah, I think it's based on
Yeah.
New York.
I thought Gotham was based off of New York City.
I'm just curious, how many cops are in New York?
there's so many cops in New York.
There's just a lot of people.
There's
in
like
New York.
precincts on like every neighborhood, you know, like
Precinct 99.
Oh damn! Okay. There's like 38,000.
yeah, in New York City or in the state.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's a fair amount then.
But Gotham isn't as big as New York City, even if that's what it was based off of. Like,
But still,
I
also,
think it
even
was,
ignoring that,
it's like the size of Manhattan almost. Like you
New
know,
York doesn't have like such rampant crime compared to what Gotham has too.
They have people dressed up as like clowns and like fucking showing up. The only person there dressed up as a clown is Mike Bloomberg. Am I right?
I saw this. So do you know like DC has their own streaming service now, and they have like animated shows.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So I was watching. So they have a Harley Quinn one, and it's actually kind of funny because it's like adult humor kind of. So like they actually have like a lot of funny shit in there. And at the end of the first season, like Gotham gets so fucked that they start the next season, and they're like, the United States has officially declared Gotham not a part of the United States anymore. It's like it's just,
That's basically what happens in Dark Knight Rises, right?
Yeah, it does.
Spoiler alert for Brian.
I will say my only thing, I don't know if this is overrated really, but more like a gripe that I have with the movie, sort of like a CinemaSins, is that like whenever Batman has to go somewhere, he always takes like a long ass time getting into his car, even though he's like speeding at 100 miles per hour, like driving anywhere. But the Joker magically teleports from place to place. Is like already instantly like, how did the Joker go from like burning a pile of money to the hospital in a second, and Batman takes like 10 hours driving in his like Ferrari to get to the hospital? And like, although like Joker's always like there, I don't know how like quickly people get from places to places just doesn't seem consistent to me. And that was the one thing that really bugged me.
Yeah,
Fair
that's
enough.
fair. I know, like, Batman has, like, a plane, too, that he just airdrops into places. And so it's kind of stupid it takes him that long to get anywhere.
Yeah, I guess that's it though.
You guys have any overrated
Not
stuff?
really. Yeah, that was he covered most of it.
Nope. Alright, then we can call it a wrap on this one. Thank you for listening to our episode on The Dark Knight. Please continue to follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcast. This is a new thing. I'm going to release all these episodes by the time this podcast comes out on YouTube. So if you're YouTube loyal, then you'll see this stuff on there too. But yeah, continue to follow us. Follow our Instagram as well. And we'll see you next time.